Hi friends, this is Annamaneni Manoj Kumar, contract lecturer in commerce, Government Degree College, Medpelli, District Jagitjala. So today topic is the IFCI and IDBI. Small introduction. These two institutions, financial institutions. So first of all, in India, the financial system is classified four categories: financial institutions, financial markets, financial instrument, financial services. So these IFCI and the IDBI, these two banks are under financial institutions. So first of all, IFCI. So IFCI means Industrial Finance Corporation of India. At the time of independence, there was a need for specialized institutes for meeting the long-term finance of industries. The capital market was not properly developed in India, and commercial banks were mainly financing working capital needs. After Second World War, there was a need for renovation, restructuring of industry. At the same time, raw industrial units were to be set up for industrializing the country. Government of India came forward to set up the Industrial Finance Corporation of India in July 1948 under a special act. The Industrial Development Bank of India, scheduled banks, insurance companies, investment trusts, and cooperative banks are the shareholders of IFCI. The Government of India has guaranteed the repayment of capital and the payment of minimum annual dividend. Since July 1st, 1993, the corporation has been converted into a company and it has been given the status of a limited company with the name Industrial Finance Corporation of India Limited. IFCI has got itself registered with Companies Act 1956. Before July 1st, 1993, general public was not permitted to hold shares of IFCI. Only Government of India, RBI, scheduled banks, insurance companies and cooperative societies were holding the shares of IFCI. Management of IFCI. The corporation has 13-member board of directors including chairman. The chairman is appointed by Government of India after consulting Industrial Development Bank of India. He works on a whole-time basis and has a tenure of 3 years. Out of the 12 directors, 4 are nominated by the IDBI, 2 by scheduled banks, 2 by cooperative banks, and 2 by other financial institutions like insurance companies, investment trust, etc. IDBI normally nominates 3 outside persons as directors who are experts in the fields of industry, labor, and economics. The fourth nominee is the central manager of IDBI. The board meets once in a month. It frames policies by keeping in view the interests of industry, commerce, and general public. The board acts as per the instructions received from the government and IDBI. The central government reserves the power of supersede the board and appoint a new one it is place. The board is assisted by the central committee, which consists of the chairman, two directors elected by nominated directors, and the board of directors elected by the elected directors. This committee assists the board in discharge of its functions. It can act on all matters under the competence of the board. So, this committee practically transacts the entire business of the corporation. IFCI also has standing advisory committees, one each for textile, sugar, jute, hotels, engineering, and chemical processes and allied industries. The experts in different fields are appointed on advisory committees. The chairman is the ex officio member of all advisory committees. All applications for assistance are first discussed by advisory committees before they go to central committees. Financial resources of IFCA. The financial resources of the corporation consist of share capital, bonds and debentures and borrowings. Number 1, share capital. The IFCI was set up with an authorized capital of 10 crores consisting of 20,000 shares of rupees 5,000 each. This capital was later on increased in a different times, and by March 2003 it was 1068 crores. The capital was subscribed by central government, Reserve Bank of India, Schedules Bank, Life Insurance Corporation, investment trust, cooperative banks and other financial institutions. In 1964, the share capital held by the central government, the RBI, was transferred to the Industrial Development Bank of India. The corporation thus became a subsidiary of IDBI. The central government had guaranteed the shares of the corporation both for repayment of the principal and for the payment of a dividend at 2.5% on the original issue and 4% on the additional issues. However, since July 1st, 1993, IFCA has been converted into a limited company. Number 2, bonds and debentures. The corporation is authorized to issue bonds and debentures to supplement its resources, but these should not exceed 10 times of paid up capital and reserve fund. The bonds and debentures stood at a figure of rupees 57.69 crores in 1971 and rose to rupees 15,366.5 crores as on 31st March 2003. The bonds and debentures are also guaranteed by the central government for both payment of interest at such rates as may be fixed at the time the bonds and debentures are issued. Number 3, borrowings. The corporation is authorized to borrow from government, IDBI and financial institutions. The borrowings from IDBI and Govt of India were rupees 975.6 crore on March 31st, 2003. Total assets of IFCI as on 31st March 2003 aggregated 22,866 crore, including investment of 3,820.3 crore and loans and advances of 13,212.8 crore. Okay, this is the financial resources of IFCI. So now we are going to Priority creation for investment. IFCI plans its financing policies as per the priorities set by the government through industrial policy statements. The industries which are high priority are given more importance. The following consideration are taken into account while selecting a financial proposal. Number 1, importance of the project for national economy. Number 2, employment oriented and labor intensive nature of the project. Expert potential of the unit. Number 4, projects located in backward areas or no industry district. Fifth, projects initiated by new or technician entrepreneurs. Sixth, projects which will harness indigenously available technology, technical know-how and raw materials. Seventh, projects which will help rural areas. Eighth, projects which help in conserving energy or which manufacture renewable energy systems or devices. Ninth, projects to be set up in cooperative sector. Eligibility for assistance under direct financing. Following types of industrial concerns are eligible for direct finance under IFCI Act amended from time to time. Number 1, limited companies incorporated in India in private, public or joint sector. Number 2, cooperative societies registered in India which are engaged or proposed to engage in any of the activities related to number 1, manufacture, preservation or processing of goods. Number 2, shipping. Number 3, mining. Number 4, hotel industry. Number 5, generation and distribution of electricity or any other form of power. Sixth one, transport of passengers or goods. Seventh, maintenance, repair or servicing of machinery or vehicles. Eighth, assembling, repairing or packing of articles. Ninth, development of contiguous area of land as an industrial estate. 10th, fishing or providing shore facilities for fishing. 11th, providing special or technical knowledge or other services for promotion of industrial growth. 12th, research and development of any process or product in relation to any of the matters. Purpose of direct assistance. IFCA Purpose of direct assistance. IFCY provides direct financial assistance for the following causes. Number 1, setting up of new industrial projects. Number 2, expansion of existing units or for diversification into new lines of activity, for renovation and modernization of existing units. చెప్పు
టిఫిన్ చేసిన
చేసిన ఏమే
ఏహే వాటినే పైనే ఉన్నారు కదా.
రికార్డ్ చేస్తున్నా క్లాస్ చెప్తున్నా, నీకు ఇబ్బంది ఏమైనా ఉందా?
నాకు ఇబ్బంది ఏం లేదు.
మళ్ళీ మోషన్ పోయినావా?
ఆహా పోలేదు.
వామిటింగ్స్?
ఒక తల ఒక్కటే కొంచెం దిమ్ముగా ఇట్లా ఉందన్నట్టు, చెవులు గిట్ట ఏదో ఇట్లా నొప్పిగా.
టాబ్లెట్స్ వేసుకున్నావు కదా? వచ్చిందా అది?
డోర్ దగ్గరికి వచ్చింది.
సరే సరే కానీ
పెట్టిపోయింది.
కాదు, మెడిసిన్ అన్నీ వేసుకున్నావా?
అన్నీ వేసుకున్నా. ఒకటి గది గదొకటి ఉంది చూడండి, వైట్ డబ్బాలది
విటమిన్.
అదే అది తినక ముందా
తిన్న తర్వాత, లంచ్ తర్వాత వేసుకో, అది ఒకటి డైలీ ఒకటి.
పొద్దున తినక ముందు అని తిన్నాక తిన్నాక
తిన్న తర్వాత
అదొకటి తర్వాత వేసుకుంటా. అదొకటే వేసుకోలే. జ్వరం తీసుకున్నా, మిగతా వేసుకున్నా.
సరే సరే ఓకే, నేను మళ్ళీ చేస్తా క్లాస్ చెప్తా.
సరే అండి, సరే.
Purpose of direct assistance. IFCA provides direct financial assistance for the following causes. Number 1, setting up of new industrial projects. Number 2, expansion of existing units or for diversification into new lines of activity. For renovation and modernization of existing units. IFCA does not ordinarily provide funds for working capital purpose, as this function is left to commercial banks. It does not allow to utilize its assistance for meeting existing liabilities of the industrial concerns. Similarly, foreign currency loans can be used for purchasing capital goods only and not of raw materials. Functions of IFCA. IFCA functions can broadly IFCA functions can be broadly be categorized under two categories: financial assistance, promotional activities. Financial assistance. IFCA is authorized to render financial assistance in one or more of the following forms. Number 1, granting loans or advances to or subscribing to debentures of industrial concerns repayable within 25 years. Also, it can convert part of such loans or debentures into equity share capital at its option. Number 2, underwriting the issue of industrial securities, shares, stock, bonds, debentures to be disposed of within 7 years. Number 3, subscribing directly to the shares and debentures of public limited companies. Number 4, guaranteeing of deferred payments for the purchase of capital goods from abroad or within India. 5th, guaranteeing of loans raised by industrial concerns from scheduled banks or state cooperative banks. Sixth one, acting as an agent of central government or the World Bank in the respect of loans sanctioned to the industrial concerns. IFCA provides financial assistance to eligible industrial concerns regardless of their size. However, nowadays it entertains applications from those industrial concerns whose project cost is about 2 crores, because up to project cost of 2 crores, various state level institutions such as financial corporations, small industrial development corporations and banks are expected to meet the financial requirements of viable concerns. While approving a loan application, IFCA gives due consideration to the feasibility of the project, its importance to the nation, development of the backward areas, social and economic viability, etc. The most of the assistance sanctioned by IFCI has gone to industries of national priority such as fertilizers, cement, power generation, paper, industrial, machinery, etc. The corporation is giving a special consideration to the less developed areas and assistance to them has been stepped up. It has sanctioned nearly 49% of its assistance for projects in backward districts. The corporation has recently been participating in soft loan schemes under which loans on concessional rates are given to units in selected industries. Such assistance is given for modernization, replacement, and renovation of plant and equipment. IFCA introduced a scheme for sick units also. The scheme was for the revival of sick units in the tiny and small scale sectors. Another scheme was framed for the self employment of unemployed young persons. The corporation has diversified and not merchant banking also. Financing of leasing and hire purchase companies, hospitals, equipment leasing, etc. were the other new activities of the corporation of the few years. Next, promotional activities. The IFCA has been playing very important role as a financial institution in providing financial assistance to eligible industrial concerns. However, no less important is its promotional role, whereby it has been creating industrial opportunities also. It has been taking up directly as well as indirectly such steps and activities as are regarded necessary for the acceleration of the process of industrialization in the country. The promotional role of IFCA has been to fill the gaps either in the institutional infrastructure for the promotion and growth of industries or the provision of the much needed guidance in project intensification, formulation, implementation, and operation, etc. To the new tiny, small scale or medium scale entrepreneurs are the efforts at improving the productivity of human and material resources. Small a, development of backward areas. The main thrust of all financial institutions has been to remove regional imbalances by promoting industrialization of backward areas. IFCA introduced a scheme for concessional finance for projects set up in backward areas. The backward districts were divided into three categories depending upon the state of development there. All these categories were eligible for concessional finance. Nearly 50% of total lending of IFCA has been to develop backward areas. Small b, promotional schemes. IFCA has been operating 6 promotional schemes with the object of helping entrepreneurs to set up new units, broadening the entrepreneurial base, encouraging the adoption of new technology, talking the problem of sickness, and promoting opportunities for self-development and self-employment of unemployed persons. These schemes are such as one, subsidy of adopting indigenous technology. The projects which use indigenously developed technology are entitled to a concession in the form of subsidy covering interest payments due to IFCI during the first 3 years of operations, extendable to 5 years. Meeting cost of market studies. The entrepreneur setting up medium-sized industrial projects for the first time can avail 75% of the cost of market survey study project to ceiling of 15,000 provided it is handled by technical consultancy organization. Meeting cost of feasibility studies. IFCI provides subsidy for the fees paid for consultancy assignments relating to feasibility, projects reports, etc. The amount allowable is 80% of the fee 7,500 whichever is less. This limit is 8,500 or 100% of the total fees whichever is less for handicapped or scheduled caste persons. Promoting small scale and ancillary industries. For the identification of products suitable for ancillary or further processing in small scale sector and preparation of feasibility reports, a subsidy of 0.1 million per annum for technical consultancy organization is allowed. Fifth one, revival of sick units. There is a subsidy to the extent of 80% or 5,000 for the fees charged by a technical consultancy organization for carrying out a diagnostic study or for the implementation of rehabilitation program. This facility is allowed to tiny units or units in small scale sector. Sixth one, self-development and self-employment scheme. An unemployed person in the age group of 21 to 35 years may be allowed a soft loan for providing margin money for getting a loan from a bank or financial institution. The person must have undergone an entrepreneurial development program who wants to set up his own project. The soft loan is interest free in first year and has concessional interest later on. The amount available under this scheme is 25% of margin money subject to 5,000. Okay, this is the small introduction of the IFCA. Now we are going to the second one, IDBI, that is the Industrial Development Bank of India. Industrial Development Bank of India was set up to accelerate to the development of the country. A number of financial institutions came to existence after independence and were catering to a variety of needs of the industry. There was a lack of coordination A number of financial institutions came into existence after independence and were catering into a variety of needs of the industry. There was a lack of coordination among different institutions and it led to overlapping and duplication of their efforts. At the same time, some gigantic projects of national importance were not getting required financial assistance. It was in response to this need that the Industrial Development Bank of India was established in 1964 as a wholly owned subsidiary of Reserve Bank of India. The bank was to act as an apex institution coordinating functions of all the financial institutions into single integrated movement of development banking and supplementing with resources for industrial financing and as an agency for providing financial support to all worthwhile projects of national importance whose access to existing institutional resources is limited. The ownership of IDBI was transferred to central government on February 16, 1976. It is now working as state-owned autonomous corporation. Besides acting as reservoir on which other financial institutions can draw. IDBI provides direct financial assistance to industrial units to bridge the gap between supply and demand of medium and long term finance. The IDBI Act was amended in 1994 to permit public ownership up to 49%. 1995, it raised more than 20 billion through its first initial public offer of equity. It reduced the stake of the government to 72.14%. Further, in June 2000, a part of the equity shareholding of the government was converted into preference share capital, which was redeemed in March 2001, resulting into further reduction of government stake of 58.47%. Financial resources of IDBI. Number 1, share capital. IDBI was formed with an authorized capital of 50 crores, which was raised a number of times. In October 1994, Government of India amended certain provisions of IDBI Act under which its authorized capital has been increased 2000 crore, which can further be increased to 5000 crore. A part of equity capital has been converted into preference capital. IDBI has been permitted to issue equity capital to public with a stipulation that at no time government holding will be less than 51%. As on March 31st, 2003, the paid up capital of IDBI stood at 652.8 crores and reserve funds at 6,325.3 crore. But to borrowings, the bank is authorized to raise its resources through borrowings from Government of India, Reserve Bank of India and other financial institutions. On March 31st, 2003, the bank had borrowings of 41,798 crore by way of bonds and debentures, deposits of 4,329.9 crore and borrowings 5,359.9 crore from Government of India and other sources. Management of IDBI. The management of IDBI is vested in a board of directors consisting of 22 persons, including a full-time chairman cum managing director appointed by the central government. The other members of the board comprise of a representative of the RBI, representative each of all India financial institutions, 2 officials of the central government, 3 representatives each of the public sector banks and SFCS, and 5 representatives having special knowledge and experience of industry. The board has constituted an executive committee consisting of 10 directors. Ad hoc committees of advisors are also constituted to advise on specific projects. Functions of IDBI. The main functions of IDBI are as follows. Number 1, to coordinate the activities of other institutions providing term finance to industry and to act as an apex institutions. Number 2, to provide refinance to financial institutions granting medium and long-term loans to industry. To provide refinance to scheduled banks or cooperative banks. To provide refinance for export credit granted by the banks and financial institutions. To provide technical and administrative assistance for promotion, management or growth of industry. To undertake market surveys and techno-economic studies for the development of industry. to grant direct loans and advances to industrial concerns. IDBI is empowered to finance all types of industrial concerns engaged or proposed to be engaged in the manufacture, preservation or processing of goods, mining, hotel industry, fishing, shipping, transport, generation or distribution of power, etc. The bank can also assist concerns engaged in the setting of industrial estates or research and development of any process or product or in providing technical knowledge for the promotion of industries. Until recently, IDBI also functioned as export bank of country. To render financial assistance to industrial concerns, IDBI operates various schemes of assistance: direct assistance scheme, soft loan scheme, technical development fund scheme, refinance industrial loan scheme, bill rediscounting scheme, seed capital assistance scheme, overseas investment finance scheme, development assistance fund, etc. Operations of IDBI. Since its inception in 1964, IDBI has extended its operations to various areas of industrial sector. It provides direct as well as indirect financial assistance for increasing the pace of industrial development. Aggregate assistance sanctioned by March 2003 amounted to rupees 2,23,932.1 crore and disbursement amounted to rupees 1,68,166.5 crores. The operations are discussed under two categories: direct and indirect assistance. So number one, direct assistance. So direct financial assistance includes projects finance assistance, soft loan assistance, assistance under technical development fund scheme and rehabilitation assistance for sick units. Various schemes under direct assistance are discussed as follows. Project finance assistance. Under the project finance scheme, the IDBI extended direct assistance to industrial concerns in the form of project loans, number one, number two, subscription to and or underwriting of issues of shares and debentures, number C, guarantee for loans and deferred payments. The next, indirect assistance. RDBI cannot provide direct financial assistance to various industrial units situated in different parts of the country. It has adopted a strategy under which it extends financial assistance directly to large and complicated industrial units involving large capital outlays and sophisticated technology. It helps small scale industries indirectly through providing assistance to other financial institutions, which in turn help these industries. The indirect help of IDBI takes the form of refinancing of industrial loans, rediscounting of bills, needs special capital assistance and financial support to other institutions by way of subscribing to their shares, debentures, bonds. Okay, this is the IDBI. Small introduction about the IDBI. Okay, so today topic we are discussed two financial institutions. One is the IFCI, the another one is the IDBI. Thank you. IFCI, Industrial Finance Corporation of India. The second, IDBI, Industrial Development Bank of India. Okay, these two institutions comes under the financial institutions. Actually, in India, financial systems divided four categories. One is financial institutions, second financial markets, third one financial instruments, fourth one financial services. Okay, thank you.